Okay, so my friend Pri is here with me today, and she told me that this was one of her favorites in the book. That's Pri right there. And she came to support me, and she even brought me roses, which is super sweet. So
She's gonna be #1 fan.
I'm gonna read this for her because this is one of her favorites. And it's about Christmas because that's one of her favorites. I pale in comparison when it comes to Christmas, but okay. It's called The True Meaning. Christmas is gift-giving time for all the nations here, but the meaning of the giving is forgotten every year. We do our Christmas shopping, sure that no one's overlooked, but the story of the one who's missed is in the blessed book. So often we just go our way and decorate our trees, forgetting the old story, how Christ came to meet our needs. We're overwhelmed by gladness as we think upon the way our families and friends will come to share our Christmas day. Let's put God back in Christmas, who gave his blessed Son, that we someday will live with him when life on earth is done. So that was that one. And then I just flipped and picked one more, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And, I think we can all resonate with this one too. It's called The Unattended Request. World, I'm a part of you now. Neither you nor I had any purpose for my coming, but I'm here. World, you treat me as if I belong. Build my environment so that I can live here happily and in peace. World, I look at you with innocent eyes. I'm not corrupted or distorted. I am whole now. Don't destroy me. World, my life is partly up to you. The way you treat me, I will treat others. Be fair to me, world. Now, world, I am full of inner conflict. I am losing a good perception of myself. And that could be bad for others too. World, I guess it wasn't your fault. I didn't try to understand. I could have done something myself to help you, world. That was deep, wasn't it? Since we're doing little quick things now, evidently.
Sure.
My brother wrote this poem millions of years ago, maybe not millions. He's 83 now. So Warren, this one's for you. He wrote this little thing that I have just loved forever, and I wish I had included it in my book, because I have a little section where my dad has written a couple and some of my brothers have. And it just says this simply: I went outside to find a friend and couldn't find one there. I went outside to be a friend, and friends were everywhere. That's sweet. My husband thinks it's a little dark and I shouldn't read it tonight, but some days are dark. And
well, can I just say something? I think that's a catharsis for us sometimes.
Yeah.
And it probably was for you, right?
Yeah. It had to be written, and I'm just going to put my marker down. The topic is, of course, the day that September 11th. Okay, so you get the gist of what I'm about to read. But I wrote it just a month or two after that day, and this is the one that I chose to share with you. There are plenty more because this is my book, so there are plenty of them in there. It's called Where the Towers Once Stood. Where the towers once stood, a blue skyline was painted. Who could ever imagine what terror awaited? Where the towers once stood, on that September morn, many innocent died as their souls carried on. Where the towers once stood, on September 11, God surely was present, ushering souls into heaven. Where the towers once stood in a blaze of destruction at the hands of the terrorists consumed by corruption. Where the towers once stood, hearts and families are broken, their lives never the same, final words never spoken. Where the towers once stood, so many are grieving. Their eyes are beholding, their hearts not believing. Where the towers once stood, a new title, Ground Zero. That morning an employee, that evening a hero. Where the towers once stood, a togetherness warmed the hearts of the thousands whose lives had been harmed. Where the towers once stood, flies the red, white, and blue, symbolic of our nation, united anew. Where the towers once stood, our flag proudly waves, while those foreign terrorists are hiding in caves. Where the towers once stood, many lives changed that day. In our memories, the photos of horror will stay. Where the towers once stood, and the many have died, we'll remember forever the day America cried. Really good time for us to remember that day, and that we're not on the right and we're not on the left, and we're all Americans, and we need to unite like we did on September 12th, because we were all Americans that day. Thank you.
Thank you.